We just heard from FCC Commissioner Jonathan Adelstein. He spoke here at the OPASCO Summer Conference, 2008 conference. A couple things that you mentioned, are kind of near and dear to my heart. One of them being the intrinsic link between video and broadband deployment. If you can expand on that a little bit.
What's really driving a lot of these broadband networks are the revenues that can be derived from video service right now. We used to talk about what's the killer application on broadband networks. I think it's becoming clear, video. It was in front of us the whole time. We see it's a whole new business model for some. IPTV can open up opportunities for providing video service to networks that have broadband available now with a whole new application, a whole new revenue stream. The good news about that is that that new revenue stream can help justify the build out of these broadband networks. Because you see, if you can get broadband out there, there's a whole nother stream that can come in to justify that investment. So we're hoping that we can make sure that content is available to these small companies. A lot of them go through NCTC, but they still find the rates aren't as low as they are for the giant companies that are vertically integrated, that have their own programming. We want to make sure that program is available at a fair rate for everybody, and to make sure there's no discriminatory practices that are being engaged in by these large multinational media conglomerates.
So you don't necessarily have to bundle the programming, so they can do a little bit more pick and choose type of thing. Is that what you're thinking?
Well, so long as it's not discriminatory,
right.
So long as the market's working in a fair way. But when there's vertical integration, sometimes the question is, does that allow these companies to discriminate or to make it difficult for the small upstart who wants to provide a new avenue for video services to be able to make a living doing it? Mm-hmm. Or are the programming costs so high that there's no way that can justify the build out of broadband networks? And since we want that broadband built out, we have to make sure that this works from start to finish.
Well, as much as I love to talk about video, there's something that you touched upon that I think is a very important point, and that is that from a broadband policy standpoint, you really have to look kind of a pan-agency. It has to go beyond the FCC, but it has to touch upon things like Homeland Security, probably health, post office even. Let's hear your comments on that a little bit.
Well, when we talk about a national broadband policy, people look to the FCC as a leader because we have so many key roles in universal service and cost recovery. Those are critical elements, and of course wireless is huge. But almost every major government agency has a role if you have a real national broadband policy. The Department of Commerce, for example, needs to identify more spectrum that it can get out that the government's using today so that people can use that. The Department of Agriculture oversees the rural utility service. That's got to be run right. It's got to be adequately funded. Department of Treasury oversees tax policy. We need to have tax policies that reward companies that invest in unserved areas, that provide proper depreciation rules. The National Science Foundation, we need to have research and development so we can continue to have these bases for broadband networks. The Department of Housing and Urban Development, you'd never think of them, but every new public housing project should have fiber baked right into it. Why should we be building that and allowing low-income Americans to live in a development that doesn't have the latest broadband technology? Of course we have to do that. We have to worry about this across all these different government agencies, and of course the government itself needs to upgrade its so-called e-government to give people an incentive to use broadband. Let's make them, for example, instead of waiting in line at the DOT, allow people to do it online. That'll give them incentive to buy broadband,
right,
to use that. So the government has a role. I think we need almost like a chief technology officer of the United States that would
interesting idea.
Make sure that he can coordinate across, or she can
right,
coordinate across all of these different government agencies to have a real national broadband policy that looks at this in a comprehensive way. It's not just the FCC.
Well, when we were talking to it, reminded me of an idea to create, instead of inside the Beltway, have a virtual Beltway. Why is it that everything has to be centered in Washington? But that's a topic for another day. But the local aspects, you mentioned this in the spectrum, how important, having block sizes that allow kind of smaller trading areas. But how important is the local to kind of bringing these broadband services, having local management and local ownership?
I've always found when there's local ownership, there's a real commitment to the community. That's what you find of a lot of these companies, for example, with OPASCO or the small rural co-ops. They're locally owned, the people live in the community, they serve the community, and they're really committed to it. I mean, they go down to the cafe in the morning and they hear about it if their network's not working, or they hear about what the customers want, and they respond. A lot of times they'll make investments that these big companies wouldn't dream of. I've heard about $12,000 to $30,000 for one loop up to a ranch or a farm that is being invested in by small companies. Incredible. That local ownership is also key when it comes to video. we find these big multinational media conglomerates buying up more and more local outlets and not really paying attention to what's happening in local communities. The federal government, through the FCC, has always licensed broadcasters to local communities, but we find that increasingly they're being homogenized, nationalized. But we like to see local owners that are committed to the communities, that provide local content. It's the same for cable companies. If they can do their own local content, people love that, especially in very small communities. Their own homegrown, home-developed programming that addresses what really is going on in that community attracts incredible attention, and nobody else can provide it but somebody who's on the ground in that local community. It takes that local commitment, and a lot of times it's local ownership that's the key to that.
Exactly. Well, and that's a great pitch for the whole idea of local content. So with that, I really want to thank you for your time, Commissioner Adelstein.
Thanks for having me.